everybody, to the this week's episode of the Shovelhed podcast. Clearly, I am not on YouTube right now, so we're streaming on Facebook because it didn't fucking work. And I don't know, it's technology. It's one day it works, one day it doesn't. But I am here with my guest, Russell Miller, who is you're a Florida native, right?
No. I'm from Georgia.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've been here how long?
I've been down here since the early mid 90s.
Oh, okay. So you're practically a native.
Yeah, damn.
Russell fronts the band Metalucious, which is Florida's best parody band for rock and roll. If you guys have not seen them, you should get out and see them because they do their own great version of all the 80s classics and the comedy and all the nonsense that goes in with it. It's full spandex, fucking furry leg warmers and the whole 9 yards.
And then the other guys started wearing them. And
I noticed that. Actually, you had Jonathan fill in for you guys at Connolly's.
The ones he had.
And I saw the pictures of him wearing them, and I
gave him those.
Laughed my ass off. Did you?
Yeah. I was shocked to see him show up without striped pants.
Oh, shit. He is one of 2 lead vocalists in the band AMOV. That is A Moment of Violence.
Actually, I'm the only one now.
Oh, okay.
The other guy bowed out.
No shit.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll get into all that stuff. Yeah, and what's the third band? There was a third one I saw you posted.
Well, I don't do it a lot because I'll be honest about it. I'm in a Linkin Park tribute called New Divide. And I mean, that's a voice I can do pretty well, is Chester. And yeah, I love it. But a lot of the issue of it is there's another one called the Linkin Park Tribute. And without saying it another way, I came into that band. They were already formed. But when I came in, I was like, oh, wow, that band is kicking your ass. I guess my ass now, too. And
right.
I mean, I guess part of me wants to do something like what Jim does with Made of Metal. Jim McCourt, my drummer.
Something different all the time.
I want to do a 90s, 2000s rock band that is like Made of Metal, where we go in and do one band, one set, either a full album or a best of with some nice little deep cuts for the real fans. Do stuff like Incubus, 311, Shovelhed, Papa Roach. I mean, all over the map. I mean,
that'd be kind of cool because nobody here does
anything.
Any of the 90s.
No.
Heavy stuff.
No.
There's a lot of the Seattle crap, but there's not a lot of the heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Clutches and the Chevelle's. Exactly. So that could actually work well.
I think it could. It's just about getting, kind of how when you were making, Eat Crow, you got to get the right players.
It's dude, that idea brewed.
Mm-hmm.
I posted about it every year for 4 years. And it has to happen with the right players at the right time. Otherwise, it's just not worth it because you put all that work and effort into trying to do something true to a tribute, and if you're doing it right, that is anyway, that took a lot of fucking work. But you know that already.
Oh, yeah.
You know how much work goes into it.
A lot of people get to see like the happy-go-lucky version of my persona to where, I was a bartender forever. And, I'm a character behind the bar. I'm a character on stage in Metalucious. A lot of people can attest. If you walk, you're not going to catch me out in bars if I'm not playing very often these days.
Me too.
2 great little kids at home. You're the same way.
Yeah.
So what do they say? Because you're very outgoing at your shows, except for if you want to get some rest between on breaks. But you're playing this outgoing, flamboyant, you're being charismatic for the audience, but then somebody sees you away from that and it's like
you're more reserved.
You're reserved, so you're a dick.
Yeah, well, yeah and no, so I do.
Well, smart people understand.
Yeah. And what I do is I apologize. Yeah. So I'll go on Facebook periodically on the Shovelhed page and I'll just say, hey, I'd like to apologize for not being so available all the time.
Like gigs. When you took a break, you recently said something.
Because they don't understand how fucking brutal that job is. And that I have, number one, I have Crohn's disease, which is why I am so tall and thin. I'm 176 pounds on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
And my hydration is super important to me, which should be to anybody, but it's even more important to me because I expend energy faster than I can create energy. It's the weirdest fucking thing because I don't eat right. I can't have too many vegetables. There's certain things I can't eat. And I need that half an hour to recuperate just to get my breath back and my rhythm back and my breathing and my body to kind of, when you start, there's this whole adrenaline thing that builds up where
getting yourself psyched up.
You have to get into it's hard to get the cycle going because mentally you're fired up as fuck, but my 54-year-old body needs a little bit of.
I got a question for you. How often on the way to shows are you driving there and you're just feeling your throat and you're like, oh man,
never.
I don't know if I got it tonight.
I used to all the time.
I've been singing 20 something years, but I'll still on the way there, I'll be like, but I'll think it, but I know that I got it.
Yeah.
But there's always that thing in the back of my mind that makes me want to prove something to myself.
To yourself. You'll push through it.
Every single time.
Yeah. This is how I've managed to become a strong vocalist is pushing past that every fucking time. Like, in the beginning, when I first started singing, I can remember that I was over reliant on Cherry Hall's cough drops. Like I would have a cough drop in my mouth all the time when I sang, and it was a crutch in my head. And then one day, no, never. I've never used that stuff just because when I started vocal lessons, they said both of my vocal instructors told me don't ever use it.
I don't like it.
The only thing you need is to stay hydrated and to keep your body healthy.
And hydrate
way before, like 24 hours
because
before.
During is too late.
Yeah. And it takes 20 minutes for water to actually make its way to a point where it's being absorbed into your body. So in the 20-minute time that you're drinking that water, you're expending more than you are taking in.
Absolutely.
So by the time the water actually hits, it's ineffective. So yeah, you gotta, it's a trick that I do is like the day before, I'll eat a whole watermelon, a whole fucking watermelon over the day before. And just because it's going to keep me solvent. It's not going to put on extra calories. It's not going to put on extra sugar. It's just going to put on extra water, which my body fucking needs. Plus I spend a lot of time outside. I know you do because your business, you're outside, but for me being a northerner, who's used to fucking, granted I'm here a decade now, so my body's acclimated, but I will spend the whole day outside so that my body stays acclimated to the heat because I know I'm going to halfway die if it's an outside gig, it's 95 degrees and 110 under the shade.
Jim and I, for anyone out there, Jim McCourt's my drummer at Metalucious. He's the only one who's left with me from when we first started it. Shout out to John Chula, who was in the band One.
How old is the band?
We've been around for 18 years.
Holy
no
shit.
one knows that. But
yeah, I know.
It's funny the way we do it.
You pause it, you go back to it.
We're not aggressive with booking.
Yeah.
We let venues call us. We never want to oversaturate, which is something you and I strongly believe in. You can't be playing. Like, I think I've said this to you before, and if any of those bands and the guys, I love you. If you're seeing this or you see it later, like I'll know bands that'll play like in Manatee Pocket in Salerno, and they'll play two of the same bars in the Manatee Pocket in the same weekend.
Yeah.
If I booked one of those places, because I used to book a lot of damn bands, and I was good at it.
I wouldn't give them the job.
wouldn't book you.
No, me neither. I would look at your schedule.
Even if you were great, I'd be like, hey, what are they paying you over there? And if you were worth it to me, I'd be like, because back then when I was doing it a lot, all right, $1,000 would be good for a band back then. I'd be like, I'll give you $1,000 to stop playing that other venue and play exclusively with me.
Yeah.
And I'll have you in here every 2 months or every 3 months.
Sure.
Quarterly usually is good, in my opinion, for a venue. But, different strokes, different folks.
The thing that drives me crazy about that is they lose out on the relationship that they could be having with the venue. So I go into it with the already understood notion that in order for me to get people at any given venue, I have to bust my ass advertising. And then of course I have to deliver the product. You know, luckily what we've done was from day one, we said we were only going to play one venue in any town because
agreed. Venue loyalty between the band and the venue is
solid.
Important,
it's solid.
And it grows your crowd, and it also helps the venue. And
then the venue says, you know, or I say to the venue, I say, what works best for us is an every 6 week schedule, depending on where it is, you know, like Daytona, we do every 8 weeks. Most of the rest of the Florida, we do every 6 weeks. We're expensive, but B, we've earned the right to be expensive because every venue we play knows we have built this relationship, a very special relationship with them. In fact, like my favorite, one of my favorites is Connolly's, and Connolly's and I have developed this relationship where I don't even ask for a raise. It's just there. And I know that she's taking care of every band that I've sent down there to play for her.
That place has become, we've got 2 shows in there now. We played there once a long time ago. I don't even know if it was called Connolly's in the early stages of the band, but the point I'm making is like, you know, Caitlin, you know, hit us up. We, you know, agreed.
You know why, price. Right? You know who sent her your name?
But, you know, and she goes, I've been wanting to get you guys in here forever. What's it going to take? And it took a little while for it to happen, you know, and some of the guys were like, oh, it's a little bit of a small, you know, it's a small dive. And I said, I just have a good feeling. And usually my gut feelings on venues are pretty good because there's other places we play that, you know, I don't want to name the venue to, you know, be a dick, but there's a place down in Pompano that has a badass LED screen and a great stage. And I don't enjoy playing there.
Oh, yeah. Don't mention it because
I'm not going to.
Because I like every place with an LED screen. So I'm going to give them, yeah, you get the LED. I know who you're talking about too.
When it's back there, I mean, it does.
I literally spent 20 hours creating my LCD movie. It's a 1 hour movie.
Oh, for Eat Crow?
No, for both.
Oh,
I made one for Shovelhed for OCC's bike night because normally they put the logo back there and I never even thought. And I called them up and I said, hey, can I run a video? And they're like, of course you can run a video. Like we would prefer you run a video. So I'm like, great. It's a 100-foot screen. It's an enormous screen. Takes up the whole back. So I sat down for fucking a week straight, a couple of hours a day, building sections and putting the sections together. And it's, you know, I got dragons and fire and flames and psychedelics and all kinds of shit going. But to have, and then I videotaped the whole night. And so as I put those videos up, they look like I'm playing a fucking arena somewhere because there's this enormous LCD screen behind me.
If you, like I did 2 different scholarships in college, but one of them was theater and musical theater. And the very first thing when you're in a college theater class, drama class, that you learn from your professor is the word spectacle.
Yeah.
The Greeks started it. And spectacle is how, you know, we consume art and live entertainment with our eyes as much as we do with our ears.
Correct. That's why entertainment of this is such a necessity, and it's missing in a lot of. Listen, I'm hard. You know, I'm hard. I'm very hard on the local scene, and I get that way because I just want it to lift.
Well, I know you're coming from a good place. I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Yeah, no, you know what it is. Look, man, if every fucking band was making $1,200. Then that's a beautiful thing for the whole scene.
Because
then the band
lift the bass line,
you're
helping out the people who are trying to come up.
But you can't.
It also helps the people at the top. Okay, if the bass line is lifted, the guys at the top can make more, but the people at the bottom also can make
correct. More. You know, so all of a sudden everybody's making more. But in order to get there, then everybody has to start filling the venues. Like everyone has to go into the understanding that you have to get the people there.
Yeah.
If you get the people there, then renegotiating your rate for the next year, give them a year. Mm-hmm. I give every venue a year. Give them a year to grow. And in that year, I also watch them, make sure that they're promoting, make sure that there's an advertisement, and or I make an agreement with them that says, I will create your advertising. I send it to them. They put it up and everybody wins. But for me, all those are very important because I am at the top of the scale of a cover band, bordering on tribute band price. The only way I can justify that is to make sure every time that I have a lot of people at the venue. And I don't negotiate. It's this price or no price, you know?
Well, I mean, you're right on that. And there's so many venues out there though, that are annoyingly lazy with their half of the deal.
Yes.
And they don't understand. They think, you know, if I book them, they will come. And to some degree, there's truth in that. One of the things that I try to say as a selling point to venues when we go in is, yes, we're expensive. Well, I need to make X amount of dollars to justify paying you Y amount of dollars. And I tell them, well, we're going to bring people into your venue who normally wouldn't come to your venue.
Right.
And then that is your opportunity to be staffed enough for you to sell enough and then to make the impression, and then they become new customers and they'll come and they're return customers. So booking us isn't just booking the show.
Right.
We're booking something saying, oh shit, Metalucious is playing there. Maybe I should check this place out.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing for you guys, you know, any big band or band that has done well and has a good reputation for entertaining people. The venues that we have to be particular for that reason.
Yeah.
We can't partner in with, you know, bad business partners.
100%. And I've actually, for me, you must have in 18 years have had this band together, but I will actually tell a venue I no longer want to play there.
Yeah, it's happened a lot.
Yeah.
And it's, for instance, some of the stuff we're doing in 2025, we've been discussing as much as since last year about in 24. I think we're looking next year to take a leap into some new things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as I'm aging, I don't know how many bullets are left in the gun, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the guys that I'm playing with more than ever. I'm getting to create music and enjoy that. It's one of the reasons I want to do that, you know, band I told you about earlier. The idea is I feel like singing is getting a little more, and I'm not saying this like this is with all like modesty, but there'd be songs we were doing, say I'm doing I Remember You from Skid Row. Oh, that note's coming.
Yeah. Oh, I get that.
You know what note I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
And I used to be like, shit, here it comes. And between like one thing, I'd run up, take a quick sip, get a little,
you know, you need a full breath. Yeah. Like,
but now it's like,
I need an oxygen mask.
It just feels like, you know, and it's some of its choices I made in life. You know, when I left the bar business, I mean, pretty much the only time I really consume alcohol is in a social situation nowadays. Don't do it at home. And I got 2 little boys I need to take care of and set an example for. But I mean, now when I go to hit those notes, it just feels a lot easier. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I'm the best at doing it or whatever, but you know, if anyone ever asks me how I'd say about myself, I feel like I hold my own. I got a game I want to play with you too in a little bit, talking about us as frontmen and all of us, all the frontmen around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Just do it. Do it now.
Shit, I'll do it now.
We're here.
Well, there's something I always say, like, well, people want to like, it's, you know, compare like all the different bands and versatility of what people do. And something I was joking one day with some friends about, I was like, if you took all the frontmen and you just hodgepodge mixed them up in other bands, you know, if you took a guy out of his band and put him in another band and took another guy out of this band and put it in that band, could that band continue at the level that they're at?
Oh.
You get what I'm saying? Like if you mixed us all up in each other's bands.
Yeah, but then
not everyone's wheelhouse.
But just as the singer or then,
no, just throw the singer in, like mix the singers all up.
Okay.
And what would happen? You know,
I think it would depend, really. That would be a hard one.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't sing, for 21 to Burn. And I love them, but I hate 90s music.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a full-fledged enough fan to be able to sing any of it anymore.
Well, sometimes, you know, you gotta enjoy what
so they would definitely throw me the fuck out. And I'm not, you know, and Mikey's a great front man. So
Mikey's very good, man. I remember a long time ago, he had a band called Broken Silence, and he was the bass player. And I've told a couple of people this story, but Mikey was a young dude coming and watching my old original band, Alito. And Mikey still remembers words to songs that I wrote, and that's so cool.
That is cool.
Somebody that I respect as a peer and love his talent and what they bring to the table. But he's playing bass, and I went to fill in because I think their singer was gone for a while. This guy named Josh, and we're in the studio. Danny Cotto, who's in Il Nino, was on the drums, and
yeah, I know
Mikey's
Danny.
fucking around and singing and all this other shit. And I'm like, dude, why are you playing bass? And he goes, what do I suck? And I'm like, no, you should be singing, you know? And I think, I hope I helped plant that seed in him a long time ago, because, you know, I got a lot of, you know, love for him of what he's doing. And I sang for 21 to Burn for years, and we had a lot of fun. But now it's funny, now that I'm not in there, they're doing, you know, Mikey's come in and got a little bit of push, like he's been putting money into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really, really propelling them to what they want to do, which is what I had hoped for when I was with them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm happy to see my friends, you know, like taking off and doing something.
Yeah. Cool. You're going to start seeing some, my honest thought process here is that we're going to really start seeing some changes here, because I think they're just going to be forced on the area.
I think you're starting to get a lot of good bands
that want to come in,
who understand their worth too.
Yeah.
And who understand what needs to be done. Like we do sponsored ads for shows. We don't spend as much as others may. I mean, you probably spend money.
I spend a lot of money, man. I probably spend $500 a month on ads.
That's the difference, though, is that we take, because I've been on the other side. I've run venues, and I take the ring personally when I play.
So do I.
I want you to be like,
in fact,
when you go to run them numbers, holy shit.
If you ever talk to Eric Stone, my bass player, ask him this, he'll tell you this God's honest truth. The hour before we start every show, I'm a basket case. Like in my head, I'm going, nobody's going to fucking show up tonight. Like, because everybody knows not to show up until start time, but everybody gets there at start time, because if they don't get there at start time, there's nowhere to sit or nowhere, you know, or people are reserving seats now. It's every time. And I think that is what propels me to constantly want to be better and better and better and better, is that I always feel like I'm 2 steps behind. So I have to fight my way up to even if I'm at the top, I still feel like I got to fight my way to the top.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, though, like creating that motivation in your head that makes you want to go out there. And I'll tell the guys all the time, like right before we take the stage, I'm like, all right, you ready to wreck this shit? And the guys will know I'll just be all la-di-da. And then all of a sudden it's, all right, it's time to go up there and dance monkey dance.
That's it, man. Let's play the game, or you know, we're like,
give the people what they want to see. You know, they're coming out, spending their hard-earned money.
Honestly, I put way more than 100% of myself into the show. Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, actually, the next day, most of the time, I don't move. I can't do shit because I've expended everything.
What always hurts on me after, especially all the jumping and the leg kicking and you know, doing the drop squats on certain parts, you know, shaking my ass for people, for the ladies, I guess some of the men, depending on what your thing is.
Or the them.
Yeah, the they, them, and whatever, man. Whoever comes out, your money's green. Come hang out with Shovelhed, Metalucious, anybody.
That's it.
But you know, my whole
we got hearing impaired coming,
wall.
So
here, yeah, dude,
bring anybody. I love that group,
come.
Right? Me too.
I love it when
not only do they come, but
they wrote you in advance and asked, right?
Yeah,
they did the same thing.
And
like, anytime, you don't even have to ask.
That's what I said. The same thing. And not only that, but they're constantly promoting. Like Terry is constantly promoting for me, like, because he loves the fact that we love that he's there and they can come and it's fucking loud and they can feel it. And I love that. Like when I met them, I was
interesting for one show to experience the I mean, I don't want to lose my hearing because I'm not going to be able to sing,
but to feel it,
to know how they experience the show would be interesting. Even if someone didn't have vision, to see how they take in something, you know, sonic.
Yeah. If that's why you need subs when you do shit like that. You know, they need to feel that bass.
One of the ways I used to know the bass was good, you'd have like a beer bottle and you go all the way to the back of the club when they're checking the bass. You stick your finger in the top of a beer bottle and you feel it resonating right in that little hole. The bass sound is good.
Yeah. See, the bass, I have to feel the bass. Like, I love to feel the bass.
Oh, with Howie, that's not a problem.
Yeah, right? I know.
Howie, this one's for you. You wear ear monitors and you're louder than the drums. How you're louder than Jim, I don't know.
But that's what when you're... Wink. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. When you're playing some of these small stages, like at Connolly's, I am literally a foot from fucking Patrick's bass drum.
Have you ever played Matthews?
Yes.
Well, you know how small that stage is, even though it's big.
Yeah.
Well, Jim will bring in
the double bass kit that hangs off.
Yeah, it's in the floating cage. It belonged to, what fucking band was that from? I always forget. Then I think of it 5 minutes later. Saigon Kick.
Yes.
It was his.
Okay.
But it has the riser underneath it. For some reason, he brings the riser, yes, you, Jim, to that show. And so I'm standing up, and his kick drum is here. So sonic fatigue is a real thing.
Yeah, big time.
All those kicks throughout the night, I feel like someone's been just rabbit punching me in the back.
Patrick kills me, and it's why I have to continue to use in-ear monitors, even in a small setting. It's just that that bass drum is just pounding in my head, you know, all fucking night, and he does whatever the hell he wants, you know. So
Patrick's great though, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I love him. At first, it took me a very long time to get used to him because Patrick is, Patrick does not conform to the band. The band conforms to Patrick.
You should have known him a long time ago.
I should have known it when
he would come on stage, and Warren, let me tell you, he'd come and do a song, and it don't matter if it was a drum solo in that shit or not. My boy was doing one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
But he's really like watching him. Because I come out and see you guys play when I can, if I don't have the kids, and like he really he's reined it back a lot over the years, and
because we're on him all the time. You know, when there's certain songs where as the rest of the musicians, when there are specific parts to songs that you have to put in. We don't ever play them exactly like the original, but all the parts that everyone knows are in the song. Yeah. So we keep those, and sometimes he adds his own thing, and it just completely disrupts that, like the section of the way that song is supposed to flow. Yeah. Like he used to put this double bass thing into A Sweet Child of Mine, and sometimes he still does it at the very end of it. And there are two notes that cannot be played in each riff passage because he's playing so fast you can't even make them out if you do hit the notes fast enough to meet, you know. Yeah, so we skip it, and then you just hit the root bars, and it becomes its own thing. But I kind of enjoy that because it keeps things improvised, so no two shows are ever alike. Yeah. You know, we never use a set list unless we're doing a 90-minute specific show where we put to, you know, like OCC and that Twisted Fork. Twisted Fork, we do 2 hours straight through, 2-hour show. So we do a set list so we can go A, B, C, D. Every other time, like at Earl's, at Connolly's, at Tipsy TE, we don't use a set list so that I can gauge the audience.
Yeah.
You know, if we're starting at 7, like at the Tipsy Tiki, it's usually a slow build, especially on a Friday. You don't get the people there until the end of that first set.
Yeah.
You know, then the end of that first set, that's why I wish they could move it back, but that's every sound ordinance issues, you know.
Yeah, they have major ones there. And it was even before it was Tipsy Tiki.
Yeah.
When it was Bottoms Up, when it was Captain Jack's.
Always.
And the cops will show up, and a lot of those Fort Pierce cops are totally cool. They're like, man, I feel like an ass even coming here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And they're like, yeah, they make us stand out here at the end of the thing and use this.
Yeah. Because what ends up happening is the cops, of course, they have to, somebody called. They have to respond. They have to follow the rule of the law.
When you rent a house that's across from Tipsy Tiki.
Yeah. You should know better.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, what are you going to do? I remember when I was shopping for a house in the 2009, and I found a house that I loved. And while I'm looking at it, it's all tiled throughout. It was across from Floresta Elementary, and the school bell rang.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, we don't want this.
Yeah,
house.
no way. Yeah. Like you're not going to purposely move unless you can't afford otherwise. You're not going to purposely move next to a train track.
No.
Because you don't want to be woken up all the time.
You don't want no more trains coming by after a certain time.
Why would I buy a house that was close to a venue? Now, if the house was there first and the venue came later, maybe that's a different story, you know, but most of these places here have been here for 40 years, you know. Earl's has been around for 40 fucking years.
Earl's is awesome.
Hiram's got to be here that long too, right?
Yeah. I mean, Hiram's, I don't know. We've been playing there with our band 15 years. And I mean, modestly speaking, I mean, we've been told we are their highest grossing non-national regional act for about 14 of those years. And we do well.
Yeah.
And, we've been through a lot of different people who, you know, booked there. I mean, there was people before Stephanie, but Stephanie was taking care of us, and she was always really good to us, gave us a raise in another room. I mean, JW took over, and now Johnny's doing it, and we have a good time. It's tough because we want to play Earl's too.
Right.
We really do, because I think we can make it.
Yeah, but there's no clause anymore.
Yeah. But a lot of the thing, though, is being in such close proximity that we've had such a good business relationship for so long. You know,
well, it's smart. That's why I don't play Hiram's.
That's why we haven't done it, man.
I love Hiram's, you know, but I don't ask them for gigs back because, well, there's more than one reason, but specifically would be because I play down the street, and I've been playing down the street for 6 years. So 10 to 12 shows a year.
So we need to look at the camera, let these venues know, look how loyal we are to you.
We have to be.
Remember this.
Yeah, they do. All mine do. They're very good with understanding that we will not go anywhere else. You know, like we play Philly down south in Stewart. And
where is
that?
How do I not know where that is?
It's dude, it is the coolest little place. It's actually the coolest big tiki. It's this huge tiki thing.
Is it on the water?
It is on Ocean Drive, I think that is, or Ocean Boulevard. So it's like across the street from the water.
Yeah.
And it's a half a mile down from not Conky Joe's, the other one. What's that? The one that just built out that new stage, which I can't remember the name of the place.
Oh, that rock live or whatever that's going to open up in the old.
Something. I forget the name of the place. There's another place in Stewart. It's got a brand new, big, giant, enormous stage. And it's been there for years, but they just expanded it. But the Philly down south is just this big, giant tiki top with a bunch of tables underneath and a bar, and they do Philly cheesesteaks and stuff from a permanent food truck that he owns.
I like a good Philly,
dude, and they're good. The Philly cheesesteaks are good. The staff is awesome. We've played there 3 times now, and every time we've played there, every table has been pre-reserved before we got there, and then it's just packed on people for the rest of the night.
You always know it's going to be a good night.
Always, yeah.
Place and you see that.
And then when I called him about next year, because a lot of my venues are asking for my 26 schedule already, he's like, dude, I want you here every month except for the 3 months in the summer when it's really slow, here. And I said, no, that's fine. I'm like, because we don't want to play fucking outside in July, August, and September anyway. So we'll be at Hiram's this coming Saturday. It's like my birthday show.
Oh, cool. And, but that's something that Jim and I were just talking about on the phone this morning was, we got that. And then we got something in July, but really that's pretty much it for us until the first week of September.
Oh, yeah.
But, we're okay with that.
But
said, it's hot.
It's hot. It really is. Unless
I got other stuff going on with other things.
Yeah.
But, like AMOV, we're gonna open for Head PE in August. Opened for them a long time ago with another original band, and we're gonna go down in October, but that's not till then, and we're gonna play with that Category 7 band.
Oh, cool.
That's
Where?
Gonna be fun at Piper's.
Oh, cool.
Piper's is always great, man. It's one of those places, little grimy little place, and but people go in there to see bands, bro.
He gets a great crowd for nationals. He's a smart guy for nationals.
Yeah, Greg is a good dude, man.
He and he's been sending a lot of them over to OCC, so they're able to make package deals and get these bands, touring back and forth. There's that whole side of the business that nobody knows unless you're in that other side of the business.
Yeah.
Which is if you don't have patience, it's the wrong game for you.
Yeah.
It's a slow process of follow-ups of this email and that message and this phone call and that one. And, you got to know people are busy. They're not going to get back to you right away. It ain't like I always laugh when I see some of these posts from band guys that are like, how many times do I have to email a venue and be ignored before, they get pissed off because they don't get a message back.
I'm just having flashbacks of me kind of rolling my eyes at myself.
I mean, there's a million reasons why you didn't get an answer back, but being a dick about, you should go into it and just be fucking patient.
Yeah.
When it took me 6 months to get Franny to actually fucking answer me at Earl's.
Mm-hmm.
But finally I got in there, once I got in there, then it was just all up to me to make the changes. But look, that's the business. Most of these places are booked up already for the year. Any place of any value,
the places that you want to play aren't calling you saying, hey, you want to play in a week?
Yeah.
Or can you play 2 days? I mean, it happens sometimes. Holes open up on the schedule.
Yeah.
But
see, that's the other thing too.
I call those a pop-up show.
I am so happy with my schedule that I have zero problem turning gigs down. And I don't have a problem. I got a message yesterday or the day before to play a music festival somewhere north of Orlando. And when I gave them the price, they were like, oh, no, we were thinking about, venue prices. And I'm like, but that is my venue price.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did you? And they were like, we're looking at like 500, 600. And I'm like, you contacted the wrong band.
That's why it's hard to find places to play.
Yeah.
Because they'll know you're good.
They want you for the people.
And they want you, but then you tell them the price and they're like, well, WTF, bro. And I'm like, I'm just tell them.
Yeah, but you know why that is?
You contacted me.
The reason that is because you're going to come in for that weekend, the 4 weekends of the month, and save the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So your people are going to put enough percentage in there that they're not going to lose money on the other bands that come in. And people think that musicians are just stupid and don't understand the game. But the guys like me that have been in this fucking game for as long as I have, I know all the bullshit. You're not scamming past me. I know, and it's the same. That's why I try to be completely upfront and 100% honest with them. I'm not, you're going to know how I feel. You're going to know what I think. Maybe I'm not right. Maybe I am, but a lot of times that's why I stick to the venues that I do.
Yeah. Well,
and then I only add a venue if I feel like the venue is going to be as worth to me as I am to them.
Absolutely.
It's the only way for me to feel comfortable going into a venue, not thinking that the only reason why I'm there is so that you can take advantage of the people that I bring you. Because if that is the case, then I want a percentage of the ring, not a fee, right?
That's the tough part, though. Like I said, I've been on both sides of it, and man, all the games that they'll play when they show you a percentage, and then they'll give me the printout of it, and I'm like, I know how to read this shit, right? I'll come in there and do your P&L reports too if you want.
Yep.
Like,
but it's
right plan, wrong fucking man.
It's one big ugly circle, because then on the other side you get the band saying, the band's emailing, promising that I will make you money. Yeah. I will bring you so many people.
Meanwhile, they have 247 followers on Facebook.
And the only person that actually constantly goes is the drummer's wife, or something. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, man. But I got t-shirts.
Yeah. The only table that's full is the band table.
Yeah. That one, it's whatever, man. I guess there are aspirations. I don't know how to not have constant aspirations. I always just want to be better. I always want to be more. I'm happy for anybody that is out there working and happy doing what they do, playing music. I just wish that there was some kind of solidarity that helped everybody. And there isn't.
No.
Because if you said to the population, if you said to everybody here on the coast, listen, stop accepting $150 a gig. Just say no. Boycott any gigs that does not pay you X amount of dollars. It's the only way to do it.
But there's bands that'll play for what?
Exactly. All of a sudden, the Moose Lodge band or the whatever that's doing it, on the side for $400 is now going to say, I'll get 6.
You're lucky. Like JW and I are going to do a duo at Shays the day after my birthday next week. And, we used to play there before. Denise is a good owner, and, they've been asking forever for us to come back. But for what these bottom of the barrel bands, as far as pay goes, I'm not talking about people's talent. Let's just say that. But if you're playing for $400 or $500, I'm getting that for a duo. And
there's a bunch of good duos that are making that kind of money.
Yeah,
as a duo, but yet,
it's not arrogance. It's knowing your value to them.
Yes,
and the cash in the
comes
door.
off as arrogance.
Yeah,
it comes off as arrogance. I'm always being told he's a narcissistic asshole. No, I am not a narcissistic asshole. I know what I'm worth.
You have to
and I know how much work I put into Shovelhed.
Yeah.
It's all of me.
Oh, your work with it is tireless, man.
No
one could ever say you're lazy about your band. If they ever did, it means they're just delusional.
Imagine if I didn't smoke weed.
It'd be 50 Facebook.
Honestly, the copious amounts of THC that run through my system is specifically there to slow me down.
Yeah.
Because I am like this all the time.
Who doesn't love a good gummy here and there?
If I'm writing a song, when you get into that, you're writing a song mode, and all of a sudden you have to shut out the world because you had an idea.
Yeah.
And you have to, if you don't focus on it, you're going to forget it.
Yeah.
That's me all the time with everything. Mm-hmm. So during a conversation with you, I've now had 14 ideas that I should have had made Post-it notes for, so that I could do them and add them or whatever, into.
How many good frontmen have you ever noticed are ADHD as a
everyone? Every frontman, every good frontman is ADHD. And the LSD thing comes from, it's not a control freak. Yeah, I guess it is. It is.
Yeah.
It is kind of a control freak thing for me. I don't know, man. I feel like I know what's best.
Yeah.
And I don't always. Sometimes I fail, but
it's hard to let the reins go though, because like the way we run Metalucious is even different, because like a lot of the bands that I've been in coming up, like if I didn't do everything like what you have, you know, you do a lot with Shovelhed. I know you have great players and all that, but you handle a lot of the business. That's what I mean. If I didn't do all the business things, shit didn't happen. And I've even played with bands where I've, you know, and it's only a few people, but like you felt like you were squeezing blood out of a stone to get that person to do what you needed them to do.
How old are your kids?
Atlas just turned 12 recently, and Maverick will be 10 in, what's today, the 11th?
Do they have cell phones yet?
Days. Huh?
Do they have cell phones yet?
No.
Okay. So, in a few years, you are going to get to experience with your children the same thing that happens with your fucking bandmates. And this has been in every band that I have ever been in since I was 19 years old has been this way, is that you're going to send your kids a text message and you're not going to get a fucking answer. And then you're going to get in an argument with them and you're going to say, it takes 2 seconds, two seconds to say something. You don't have to get into a conversation with me. You could just say, hey, I'm busy right now. I'll text you back. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have that conversation. It's the same exact issue when you're in any band and you have to get a band member to promote the band.
Yeah.
You know, I say, dude, seriously, you take a shit every day. While you're taking a shit, log into Facebook.
Your phone's on your hand. Well,
and share something.
In their hand.
Most people, it's with them 24/7. And if you're
aren't wired to
if your money is reliant on you answering your fucking phone, it's on me all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I may not always answer. It may take me an hour to get back to something. But the thing is it's always there. I always have it on me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I need to be connected to my business.
Yeah.
My business is my band. I want everybody to know the band. I love being in Publix in fucking Port St. Lucie and where I live 30 miles away and having somebody scream, hey, Shovelhed from across the fucking store. Like nothing makes me feel more alive than, holy shit, dude, everything that I've been doing.
You made an impression.
Yeah. Like somebody remembered it. You know, I've been stopped by cops to tell me my wife is your fucking biggest fan. It's like shit like that. I love.
Come on behind you, like, what the fuck did I do? All of a sudden, hey,
I was in Wawa and I was getting stared down hard, you know, but I'm wearing bell bottoms. You know, it's after a gig, I'm getting food and this guy is like, whoosh, and I'm thinking, fuck me. What did I do?
I could see you dressed up at a show one day as Prince.
Yeah. Oh my God. Big pompadour. I would do it. Yeah.
Me and Billy T were down in, somewhere in South Florida one day and we're just driving in traffic. And, I look over and I start pulling my camera out and I'm like, Billy, look. This dude out on the side of the road at a bus stop, hot as fuck outside, dressed just like Prince. I'm like, zoom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I could probably,
it's Florida.
I'll dig it up and post it again.
I've seen Spider-Man dancing in Palm Bay. That's the only character I've seen. I got this Jesus guy that's out down by the Publix 58th here every single day. With his billboards and megaphone.
Oh, yeah.
And
There was a guy in Port St. Lucie who did that for 20 odd years.
Every day,
He was at PSL Boulevard and US 1, but that intersection's so insane now that the city asked him, we're not stopping you from doing what you're doing. Can you move? So he went up to Jennings in US 1.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd have a cross out there. He'd park his truck, drag that thing, a giant cross.
Wow.
And he'd just be out there preaching, but everybody I knew who knew that guy said he was genuine and like a real nice guy.
This guy seems pretty cool. You know,
yeah, I've seen him out there though.
He's always like, you know, whatever.
Anytime I'm making you know, cause I go to Sam's a lot or I go to Target or somewhere near the mall, make that left turn and there he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, his camper, he lives in a camper or an RV thing. And that says the same in red, Jesus saves on it. But I just wish that he would have stenciled it on or something. You know, it's like this sloppy written spray paint of red. Whatever. It's fucking Florida.
In his eyes, he's fucking Pablo Picasso, man.
Oh my God. So what are your next gigs? What are the next big gigs for you?
Well, like I said, we got Hiram's coming up
this weekend.
Saturday. Yeah. And then we're kind of laying low for a little bit. But like last night, we just got together. Howie's sick. I hope you get better, buddy. And but you know.
Oh, you know what? Well, let me stop you for just for 1 second. So I want to bring up Scott.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know who does know you and who doesn't know you. And if there are folks that are tuning in from outside of the area and not part of our Florida scene, a musical populace, we may not physically know people, but we know of everybody. And it's important that we support each other when we can. So I wanted to bring up just the issue, about Scott. And
yeah, he got into he was heading home he teaches guitar down in South Florida, and he told his wife he was heading home, and she was like, "Oh, it's been a while." And then it got to be like a 10-minute trip home. It's like almost an hour later. So she looked at his location, and it's at an intersection. It's just staying there. And Mindy drove up, and ambulance, cops everywhere, and he got hit while he was riding his bike. And, you know, I feel like I got to say, he wearing riding boots. He wears a jacket, DOT grade, like approved helmet. He had on all the proper safety stuff, and it still don't help when your head slams against the pavement. I mean, it'll keep you from dying, but I mean, he was in pretty bad shape, and he's playing the guitar again, but I mean, he can't
for a while there.
He can't drive a car yet. He's got a long road to hoe, but I mean, if you see this, Scott, you know, we love you. You know that.
And even though I never met you, dude, I've been literally praying for you every day. And I'm not saying that to say that. I really mean it, because just through knowing these guys, like even when I see your posts or whatever, I immediately think of him. And then it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. So you give well, down here in Florida, we have a fucking problem with motorcycle accidents. Like there is,
it's bad.
It has been getting worse and worse and worse year after year after year. One of the Richard Phillips Down Biker Fund, who we do some work with, raises money, and every time they get reported, if somebody's in the hospital for 24 hours, they'll go and give the family $500. It's with no questions asked, as long as they've spent those 24 hours in the hospital, and they're in Brevard and Indian River County. And every fucking year the number goes up. You know, last year there were 107 or something, or 112, or I can't remember exactly which number it was, but it was like, holy shit, man. And that's only what we know of.
There's a lot of guys I know who aren't with us anymore that ride that road.
Folks are not paying attention. And of course it takes awareness from both sides.
But typically speaking, in my opinion, it's usually not the guys riding cruising and on Harleys and whatever you got, a Honda, whatever. Usually a lot of the guys that are hot dogging it being D-bags. Not everybody, not to lump them in a boat. It's usually people on a crotch rocket.
Yeah. And well, exactly. Well, I think that is the majority of the accidents caused by motorcycles are crotch rockets.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the accidents that are from car to motorcycle are on Harleys or thereof, you know. Yeah. Because I mean the thing, or there's alcohol involved in either situation, you know, that's another portion of this that becomes an issue, especially here in Florida, where people are drinking from 9 a.m. until 2 o'clock in the morning, you know. I mean, especially the people that are within our circle of life, because unfortunately that is another byproduct of playing venues that serve alcohol, is that 99.9% of the people you know are drinking. Yeah.
Shit, that was like you know, not to divert the conversation, that was a big part of, you know, my growth as just a person, was when you're the guy you're the front man and people are bringing up trays of shots to the stage. Who are they coming to? You're the lightning rod.
Yeah.
And I mean,
my birthday,
guys,
that happened to me.
I got
27 shots of Old Smoky whiskey.
So, you know,
I got carried off the stage.
I've been there.
I did it on purpose, though. It was my birthday. Yeah. I understood and I knew, but that was the only time. And like any other time, I don't drink at all.
Yeah.
You know, I have whiskey because I like to
have
sip
it early in the night, like before we go on. Like most places, we only do 2 sets. We do 2 75-minute sets, 30-minute break. That's the formula for Metalucious. But like Hiram's is the one place we'll play 3. And when I'll go there, I'll have some beforehand. But once the 3rd set starts, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I don't really want anything else.
Yeah.
But that's part of the growth. Like, cause I mean, I've had those blackout nights to where I wake up the next day and I just want to call my guys in the band and be like, dude, I'm sorry, man.
I have some pictures of me, in the, like 2007, 2008. I was in a popular tri-state cover band and I didn't have a mustache and I didn't have a beard. All I had was a soul patch and I had hair still. And I looked so fat. And I'm like, why? Like my eating habits have always been the fucking same. And then I remembered that I was drinking probably 10 fucking, Jaeger bombs a night.
Yeah.
And so all that fucking sugar between the Jägermeister and the Red Bull, you know, over all that playing was
Jaeger
just
bombs are a
building
good
up.
buzz, though, man.
They really are.
I mean, I like them.
And I could really down a Jaeger bomb.
Mikey loved them back in the day. Between me, if you got me, Mikey, and JW all in the same like show and we're hanging out together, you ready for a Jaeger bomb?
Yeah.
Like, we just had one 3 minutes ago.
I know, right? It's kind of like smoking weed. Should I smoke another one? Do I?
But Jaeger by itself, in my opinion, does not taste good.
No, but see, it's owned by it's owned by the same company that owns Grey Goose, and Grey Goose tastes like shit too. So, you know, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I don't understand. I never understood.
You know why people drink the brands of alcohol they do?
Because their daddy did,
or the entertainer they like. Like you used to say, like certain vodka brands or tequila or whiskey. They just drank it because their favorite rapper drinks it.
I got last year I got into this thing where I'm obsessive compulsive and I have to collect things.
You're not,
like
no way.
Yeah, like you could see he noticed I have all the Star Wars and McDonald's glasses from the 70s and shit on my wall and stuff like that.
I'm looking at them now. I used to have some of those.
Yeah,
Orlando Calrissian up there in particular. I had that one.
It's taken me years to recollect them. When I was a kid, my father owned a Burger King. And when at one point we had a case of every single one.
Yeah.
And in a move, they all broke. And I had like 2 or 3 left. And over the years, I have slowly just eBayed more. I won't buy them in when I see them at like the flea market because the guy overprices them. But I've found them in thrift stores. I've found, you know, all over the fucking place. And I won't go buy a whole collection because I enjoy the hunt.
Yeah.
You know, you ever collect fucking comic books? You know that addiction that comes into play.
X-Men, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Spider-Man.
I still have them. I still have all mine.
All mine disappeared, man.
Did they really? I have fucking, then here's the new thing I have. Don't ask me why, but it only cost me $1, right? I'm like DVD collections.
Mm-hmm.
I have been collecting DVDs again, and I'm thinking, why the fuck am I doing this? Between my records, which I probably buy 3 records a week, DVDs, it's like, it's out of control. My wife is like, enough, fucking enough. I like
collecting like video game consoles and games.
Oh.
I have 2 original Nintendos. I have an Intellivision. You remember that?
Yes, that was what I had. I didn't have Atari.
That's
I had
what my dad bought us too. Until he loaned it to the neighbors, and they played with it for like 24 hours straight because they were on the
Astro
Army.
Smash, dude. I was a fucking...
I like the one with the Red Baron.
Red Baron was cool.
B-17 bomber. Did you have
Bowling was good. Bowling. Basketball was fucking great on that thing.
That console, you look back at them, they all suck, but it blew the Atari out of the water. But you had to control everything with a disc, and you put the little card in. Yeah. But you had that.
We wore ours out. Like it got to the point where
the messed up.
Yeah,
and
the buttons didn't work anymore.
Yeah, they got hot. Fuck. As I said, the neighbor ruined ours. They played it for like 24 hours straight. And then the controllers didn't work anymore.
When it first came out, you could only buy Intellivision games. So like Atari and ColecoVision were all of a sudden coming out with like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and all the shit that was popular, but you couldn't get it on Intellivision. No. First one that I got.
Coleco was a good system.
Pitfall was the first big, Activision cross game into Intellivision. And I was like, fuck, I love this. And I have, do I have it? I have it somewhere. I think I have it in that game, the Pac-Man game. No, I have it in a small one.
I used to have
There's a new Pitfall. Or there were, PlayStation 2. That's what it was. I have my PlayStation 2.
Is it any good?
It's pretty cool, but it's just like Tarzan. Did you ever play the Disney's Tarzan on PlayStation 2? Get me fucking started on games, dude. Cause my kids, what I used to do with my kids were they had to play, I would always go to GameStop and buy the used consoles because I couldn't afford, I was divorced and I couldn't afford to go and buy $500 fucking new consoles every year. So every year GameStop would have, last year's model for half the price or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with this enormous collection of fucking discs because the kids would fuck them up and they'd scratch them and whatever. But man, I know every fucking game, every goddamn game.
If it's out there, I've played it. And even like those things, I started like buying those.
Yeah.
I had the Ninja Turtles one for my kids. When they stopped playing it, it was so big. I sold it for damn near what I bought it for.
Yeah,
now they got those emulators now.
Yeah, well, you can get somebody to come in and reprogram
and put the Raspberry Pi chip in that. I have it, but
mine every game.
Just the box.
I'm afraid
with the two controllers. Yeah. My buddy builds them down in St. Lucie West.
Oh,
and he builds those. He can put a fridge on the bottom of the fucker if you want it.
No shit.
Yeah.
We love it, man. Sometimes it's like 2:00 in the morning when I come home from a gig and I'm like a little bit too wired. I'll play fucking Dig Dug or Pac-Man or Galaxian or something.
It's funny. Galaxian was like the great value version of Galaga.
Yes. And Galaga, see, when I was in Texas when that came out and we had this gas station called Kid Jones. It was the
you just ride your bike and go play games.
Yeah, dude, that's what you did. You took your lunch money and you went and, you saved it up for the week and you played games. And that game, the Galaga game, if you shot everything except for the last two right B's, I think, it's been so many 30 years, I don't really remember. And you spend the next, 10 or 15 minutes just dodging them. All of a sudden, nothing shoots at you anymore for the whole rest of the game.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And so what happened was I learned the trick and I was on the game for 9.5 fucking hours. And that was the pinnacle of, oh my God, I could play a game for 9.5 hours on a quarter, man.
I'm going to have to, because I still see Galaxy in some places. Have you checked out the arcade off of Okeechobee Road in Fort Pierce? $20 all you can play.
Oh.
They've got old school arcade games. They've got all the new crap, all the stuff the kids want to do.
If they have Donkey Kong, I may go this weekend.
They might.
That's the one I can't get.
Elevator action. If you remember that.
Shit.
But then they've got a room that has all these pinball machines, like some classics and some like the Iron Maiden one.
What's the name of it?
It's called Pocket Change.
Pocket Change.
It's right near the Cracker Barrel off the Fort Pierce exit.
Yeah. Orange Avenue or whatever the hell that is.
It's an abandoned, right before you get to over there. It's off Okeechobee.
Oh, that's fucking cool. I was a huge Donkey Kong
literally,
fan, man.
We were in there 4 hours. Wow. And if you want beer and wine, it's like $4.
God damn. It's like Dave and Buster's used to be. I don't know. I haven't seen one here.
I went to Dave and Buster's once. And we took, the kids, and the ex-wife came with her kids. My old lady's there. We all get along. But fuck, our dad was after tipping $400. And
I haven't been since I left New
on
York.
The game card.
Wow. I remember doing my son's birthday party there. Or no, I took his soccer team there.
Are they from up north?
It was.
Is that where Dave and Buster's
I don't really know. It was on Long Island for at least a decade and a half. I never saw one down here, but I was told that there's one somewhere in Orlando. Which would make sense.
The one down there in Broward, down that way, has been there for a while.
Yeah.
Because we'd go there, then go to the Hard Rock, and they finally put one in St. Lucie West.
Yeah, the answer to a fucking Dave and Buster's is to put music in it.
Yeah.
Make that a music venue, and you will never, ever, ever, ever not have 1 million people in there. But you got to do the job right. A real stage, real lighting, house sound,
because their dining section is huge and separated from the arcade. It'd be easy to do.
Where, at this place?
No, at any of the Dave and Buster's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's.
I never understood why they didn't do it.
Big dining room with the bar in the middle, and then all the games are over there.
Yeah, I never understood why they didn't do it. And this place, it's just our area is ripe. It's like overripe for somebody to walk in here and put a very large venue.
Yeah, it's going to take
it's going to happen.
Person to want to spend the money.
Yeah.
Ultimately, guys like me and you can have ideas, but.
It takes the right people. I mean,
you need the guy who's
it's going to happen because the more I sit down and do the research on it, the more sense it makes, because there are the last census that I could get any information on was 2022 as far as registered motorcycle riders from Martin County, Port St. Lucie County, Indian River, and Brevard. 57,000 registered motorcycle riders.
Yeah, I saw that up there. It surprised me that
it's not more.
It shocked me that St. Lucie County didn't have more.
Yeah. Yeah. The numbers were, but now remember that's
the most populated city.
That's 3 years ago. So, who, I don't know if that's true, but if you were to put an OCC or a Twisted Fork over here, it would be the only destination for 150 Absolutely. Miles, 200 miles in either direction.
OCC is one of the first venues when we're talking about next year reaching out and doing some different things. That's one of the ones that is the top of our checklist.
You're going to love it, man.
Yeah.
Everybody that I'll talk to Vic, or I'll introduce you to Victor so that he knows that you and I know each other. Because everybody that I have sent him says the same thing. They leave that place being like, oh my God, because it's everything that a musician dreams to have as a venue.
What a venue should be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I don't,
Jim played there with
banging my head against the wall.
Went over there with Nico when they were doing, the
titanium
tart, and
they're coming again.
I think he went over there with the thing he did with Joey Belladonna too. And,
that's good. The Journey or the Dio?
The Dio one.
The Dio one.
And, I mean, that was pretty cool when we played down at Nico's thing one year. I mean, there's always Carmine Apiece is always there. Nico's cool as hell. And, I've had some funny conversations with him, but that would take too much time.
Patrick's there every year.
Patrick's always there. But I remember seeing him there, and I remember my dad yelling at me for listening to Anthrax, and he's like, turn that hippity hop shit off. And I'm like, Dad, this is a rock band.
Yeah,
it was I'm the Man 91.
Right.
So he's yelling at me, but I go up to him, and I'm the Man was on 91 was on the Attack of the Killer Bees album. It was all B-sides mostly. And I'm joking with him and singing some of the stuff. And he's, he's talking to me. He's humoring me. He goes, it's funny. You probably remember more of the words off that album than I do.
The first couple of albums, the first couple of Anthrax albums was a very pivotal time musically in my life.
Yeah.
That was you had the first album with Neil Turbin was fucking great. Then Joey came in, and up until, Among the Living, that I liked them up until Among the Living. And then my taste started going more towards Megadeth or somebody else and less Anthrax. And in New York, Anthrax kind of was jokey.
Yeah.
They kind of, I guess there was a lot of that jokiness nonsense to the knot and, you know, shit, and not everybody could get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that just, it did not attract me, but that was also Injustice for All was right around then. And I was a huge Metallica fan during that period.
Yeah, dude, I had all the tapes from all sorts of genres.
Yeah.
But, I think it was I'm the Man and Bring the Noise, where they did Bring the Noise of Public Enemy, which kind of sucked me into really liking them because they weren't, because I liked.
But then did you listen to Stormtroopers of Death?
No.
Come on, man. That was of Viscottian's other group with the
I do
song.
know about it, but I never really, it's a shame too. I got to do that on the way home because we have everything we ever want to listen to at our fingertips.
You can never release the song.
Yeah.
That there's a song called AIDS. You could never release it.
Heard of this?
You could never, ever, 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 ever get away with releasing it today.
No,
I mean,
no.
fuck no. In fact, I wonder if it's not scrubbed off of YouTube or something because.
Well, in today's climate, you know, I'm not surprised.
But dude, I mean, it was just a sense of humor. People were just having a sense of humor. You'll understand when you listen to the song and hear the lyrics again.
I'm going to see if I can find it.
Oh, fuck me. Well, man, I think we have run a good hour, which is good because what was happening for me was the longer I go, the harder it is for me to edit. So when I sit at an hour, it's or a little bit more, it's the most perfect time. But what I would like for us to be able to you know, close up shop here with is, what do you want Shovelhed people that have never seen Russell Miller before to get out of this? Cause that's why I'm doing this.
All right. The biggest thing I want you to get out of it, no matter what you see me in, I guess, I mean, I'm passionate about what I do. I know a lot of times, like, my approach to things comes off a little like devil may care. But, you know, there's a part of my personality, but I like to, if you come watch us play Metalucious, for instance, what I want you to do is just, you know, leave your worries at the door. I know it sounds cliche, but when you come in, we're playing characters and we're trying to take you back in time. And I want to make it look like I don't even give a crap. And I want you to laugh. But when we open our mouths and we do 4-part harmonies, and I'm lucky to play with some fantastic freaking musicians, you know, who are some of the cream of the crop guys from South Florida. I mean, that's one of the things I'm lucky on. You know, they can play their parts, they can hit the harmonies. But, you know, if you do see us and you've never seen us before, it's meant to be funny, but sound awesome. That way you can kind of, I don't really like to call us a tribute band anymore because we were doing this before anybody thought about doing tribute bands for the 80s. And now you can't swing a cat by the tail without hitting one.
That's right.
But, you know, it's meant to be tongue in cheek, but sound very, very good. And, you know, if you do come to a show, come say hi. I mean, once I get all, you know, turn off the
if you're a fan of Steel Panther, you're going to fucking love these guys.
That's where the band came from.
Yeah.
They were called Metal School.
Yeah.
You know, quick history lesson. We were Metal School. My buddy John was in one, and he ran the Kelsey Club, and I was like one of his main guys. Not Kelsey, when he moved up to PSL and did the Mojo Room, and we're the biggest indoor concert venue this area has ever seen still, and tons of national acts, 1,000-person room, best PA you could get.
Where?
Port St. Lucie, right behind the draft house. We went into an old Walgreens, but then we got the 2 spaces next to it.
Oh, cool.
But, you know, and that band started because I used to play for a radio station band for 103.1 The Buzz for the morning DJ guy. And I was on the station's cover band, and that's kind of where I got a lot of my clout. And it started from there. But that ended. Mark was gone, and we opened the Mojo Room, and John goes, I need something like you used to do with Mask with the Mark Summers band. So I started Unmasked, and, you know, he heard me singing No. Was it Sweet Child of Mine? Oh, no, Welcome to the Jungle. John did, and he was managing, and we were playing that night. We always had a good crowd. And he goes, dude, you were born in the wrong era. I said, man, that's not my wheelhouse. He goes, you may not think so. He said, but if you were older and you were born back then, he goes, you might have fucking been a star. And I was like, thanks. So we started Metalucious. The first bass player was Gary McNutt, who was in Tangier and Cinderella. Gary works for the city in PSL now, I think. And we used to joke with him. We used to tell him, you got those clothes out of your top drawer, bro. But we had him, and Jim and I are the only original people left. We didn't have keys at first.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I really feel like it's getting to a point where, as time goes, we're the best version of ourselves.
Yeah. And that's an awesome feeling to have as a band, because I feel that way right now.
You know, part of it's personal growth for yourself, but part of it is, you know, the longer you do something well, you know, people who are very capable are attracted to be a part of it.
Correct. But I think, like, I don't know about you, but I put so much pressure on myself to be the best of myself.
Yeah. Be the best you every day.
That when I actually reach a plateau where, the band is just exactly where I wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, like that whole,
performing feels that way now.
With all of it, from business to the members that are in the band, to the constructions of the songs, to the vocals, to the, like, everything. I go to every gig with so much anticipation to play with those guys.
Yeah.
And I leave every gig wanting to hear back how I played with those guys. Like, at this point, I don't think I could ever see Shovelhed without the guys that are in it right now.
Yeah, if Jim left Metalucious, I'd be done. I've said his name a few times, but if he decided it was time to hang it up, I'd be the end of that band.
You reach that gel factor. It's like it's every, I don't know. Yeah. Who knows how long any of that could ever last, because you think that when you get married too, and those don't always work out. You know, the first time I got married, I never thought I would end up divorced. So, yeah, you know, the first band I ever built, I never thought it would ever break up. But these things fucking happen. The difference is coming to this point in your life sober, with a different point of view, and being able to look at it as the business that it is and utilizing it properly.
And you cherish it a little more too, as you know, with age comes perspective. I won't always say wisdom, because not everyone's wise. I got a question I want to ask you. Speaking of opinions and wisdom. So last night we're rehearsing, you know, Ken just amazed me. I show up, plays keyboards, sings the high harmonies, playing all this crap. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to play bass tonight too. And I'm like, so you learned all the songs left-hand bass in 2 hours? Or 5 hours. So we did it, but we did Cherry Pie. Mm-hmm. We tried it before, never came out good. Came out fucking awesome.
Oh yeah. And,
but the one I want to ask you about is, so we're going to play a Winger song. I'm sure you know which one it is.
I fucking love Winger. I bring this up with other guys now all the time about how
they got ruined.
And they were great. I loved them. He was a great singer. Red Beach was an amazing guitar player.
We had him at the Mojo Room.
Yeah.
70 something odd people paid for a ticket.
Wow.
And Kip and Reb, when I was done I worked that night, and I was wrapping up my drawer, and I walked by Kip and said, hey, after I turn this in, can I get a picture with you? He goes, absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Because he saw me back in the office when they were signing crap, and super nice, and played the show like there was 1,000 people max capacity. Yeah. And then I saw Reb backstage, took pictures.
Another great guy. He's a fucking really nice guy.
And they're so talented. But my question I want to ask you about it is, the debate we had in practice is, all right, so Hiram's the only place to do 3 sets. When do we play that song?
Which one? Only 17?
17. I said, we can't.
You wait until the last set.
I said the last set.
Yeah. Yeah, because the old folks that we get offended will be gone.
Yeah.
You know, the kids will think it's a joke.
Well, the
people my age,
the dance floor is all kids on our first set there.
Yeah, not a good time to do it because you're going to look like a pedophile.
So I had a joke because I say a lot of bullshit on stage. I tell people on the mic every show, everything I say into this microphone is meant to be taken seriously. So then some people will laugh. You know, I say who's seen us for the first time. And
right.
I usually do it in the first set just to break the ice about midway through, and a talking point is, hey, this is a joke, but you know, don't it sound good? And like I said earlier, and just break the ice, and people go, I've seen faces go, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden they want to dance.
You going to do the whole song, or is it part?
Doing the whole thing. Yeah. And man, that's a tough song. It's a hard, man.
He's 63 now. Imagine singing it at 63 years old. No, it's, whew. Yeah. But I would save it for the last.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great second song, slower, but
third song of the third set, you know, after Final Countdown and Still of the Night, that we're going to go ahead and throw it in there.
I wouldn't sing it. And see, those are the singers that I stay away from is Sebastian Bach, because I don't think that I can do him every night like I do while doing everybody else.
Sustainability thing if you're gigging a lot.
Yeah.
But it's hard. But you can always write it off the set on the nights where you don't feel like you got it.
Well, what I would like to be able to do is interchange the Journey songs with a couple of Skid Row songs, so that because they're about the same register, and if I didn't have to do them all in the same night, great. If I can interchange them, the problem is that fucking the Journey songs are like
Separate Ways it's one of my favorite songs we do.
Yeah, it's Separate. Well, I love them. Actually, we do Separate Ways, we do Any Way You Want It, and we do
Don't Stop.
And I actually love doing all three of them. Honestly,
we've done Faithfully. We
started off hard. With just Faithfully.
Keys.
Did you drop it?
No,
you did it.
Oh, I think we're half step down.
But it's a hard song to sing. Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we do half step down, but if, you know,
I do everything.
It's a singer thing. Well, most bands do that.
To get through 3 full hours.
But there's some songs though that don't sound right unless it's in, you know, if it's in standard, it's got to be in standard.
Look, this is our philosophy is we will try things once. We'll give it a second time. And if one of the 2 times, either the audience is not responding or anyone in the band feels that it's not right, something's missing, then we just fucking shit can it.
Yeah, well, right past it. I remember the first time I did acoustic with JW, and he did everything a full step down, you know, for singing and stuff. And he was a solo act, but I showed up and I'm like, and he's like, it's full step down. You know, he's whispering to me, and I was like, second set, first time playing together. Can we just tune up where everything's at, or maybe a half step down, and let's do it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Even though he hadn't done it that way, he's a good musician, and you know, he just did his thing. And I mean, then we started playing a lot of shows together. But the whole point of me saying that is just, as a singer, man, sometimes, you know, guys, if you play guitar, think about how it's going to change the way the song needs to be sung, because it can sap the feeling out of the song.
Yeah, totally sap the feeling out of the song. I think that when you're doing covers and shit, you have to stick to the nuances. You know, because people in the audience are going to hum the nuances.
And that's when you really get people with a song. Like I was just saying last night, you know, I got the Meet of 17 pretty damn good, because that was the harder of those 2. But I always say, oh, all the little fleegly gees, and Mike laughs. He's filling it on guitar. And Mike Fleegly Geese, and Ken's laughing at me, and I'm like, it's all that little extra frilly vocal shit that every singer from that era had to put in. I'm like, I get the bass, and then all the Fleegly Gee little nuances, like we're saying, I'll get that, but just trust me.
Yeah.
I need to go into the rehearsal and do my bare bones part, and then it all.
I do the same thing. I do it too, because there's a process in the breathing for me. Well, I'm also playing guitar, so I'm trying to figure out how to do all of the guitar parts well while singing, and trying to count I'm a counter when I play. Like everything for me is counting. Yeah. I'm counting my breathing. I'm counting
Yeah.
You know, how many riffs, how many times to play this riff, because otherwise
well, you're doing two things at once.
Yeah, it's
I don't
fucking retarded. Sometimes I'm also mixing, you know, it's like, yeah. But the nuances for me are what keep me on point, because that's how I am able to clue myself. Like, there are specific things I expect in a Slash solo.
Yeah.
That you have to do it, you know, so that keeps everybody in the band on point, is those key signatures. But otherwise, I'm going to sing shit the way I sing shit. I'm not going to sing shit
you do.
You know, 100% to like the artist.
Like you're doing Sweet Child, you know, you kind of.
That's a hard song to begin with.
Your way to do it. Yeah, it is.
You know, because it's actually, he's got a 4-octave voice.
Yeah.
And his natural low is just as amazing as his natural fucking high.
I like doing his low to mid more.
Like Brownstone?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So do I.
I want to do that one, but we don't. I mean, we're trying to put out, like, maybe we'll ask people on the page, but like I said, we added those two. I want to add No One Like You. Like, a lot of the stuff that we're having to start to add, because we have such the meat of all the hits.
Yeah.
Now it's getting to the part where it's kind of a deep cut or not as popular, or like the case of Cherry Pie and 17, there were songs that we avoided for a long time because, I mean, I wasn't taking care of my body, you know, and especially back when I was bartending, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, and, you know, just the right guys in the right room with the right mixture and attitude and conviction at the right time. So those were two songs we weren't going to do. No One Like You. We tried it once. Nobody else would sing backups on it in rehearsal. I said, I never want to touch it again.
Yeah, but because the hard part to these songs is that they're sing-songy, chorusy things in which the lead vocal is actually not singing the same thing as the backup vocals. And so when you are able to lock in to solid harmonies,
yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a game changer in your approach to singing. Yeah, me too. Right now, like, there are times when Eric, it's just fucking weird that I have Eric, I'm bookended by Eric's.
Yeah.
When their harmonies block, it's almost religious for me. Like,
how many times have you had that happen where you'll do a harmony a lot and it'll sound good, but sometimes when the voices do this, it just creates this sound in your ear, and sometimes I'll turn around, I'll look at Ken back on the keyboard,
and you can't exactly.
And he knows what I'm smiling.
Yes,
about.
Eric and I did the same thing. He knows because we have the same
and I'll
look.
Go like, ooh, like that was sexy.
I wish everybody had that. I wish everyone who wasn't a musician could experience that, so they could understand the significance of that for a band.
Dude, that's something I'll say to anyone who watches this, who's in a band and, you know, coming up. I mean, not that we're any better than anybody else, but we got a little time in this area and little dedicate, and our bands have been consistent, but if you're not thinking about the harmonies, then you're fucking yourself, and you're never going to be the best version of whatever project that you're in. Harmonies, even going in a recording studio, when I have to lay down 3 of every single lead line, 2 or 3 or 4 of harmonies in every direction. I mean, how would those recordings sound if I didn't put those harmonies in there? Yeah. Like shit.
The best utility players in your band are the guys that can multitask and sing.
I mean,
because it just
think about the
elevates
bands who play
the game.
Aerosmith and don't do any, like,
no harmonies. You can't do Sweet Emotion without it.
Or you're going to go out and do, like Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, what's the any Van Halen, like all the
Van Halen.
If you ain't got your Michael Anthony in the band, and I got that with Ken, thank you God.
And that's Eric too.
Yeah. If you don't have those parts, I mean, that's just to wrap this opinion up to anyone out there. Harmonies are just as important as you learning the song on your instrument.
Oh, yeah.
And Warren, you'll back that up.
It changes the perspective of everybody in the audience from, oh, these guys are good, to holy shit.
The harmonies are what, I mean, you do Panama.
Do Panama.
Every time we get to the ain't no stopping, we hold it out like, no, like a long time. And it's like kind of like a joke between me and Howie. who stops last, and I used to always stop first. And finally, I'm like, all right, I'm going to show this motherfucker I can hold notes
hold it for all night.
You want to find out? So then we do it, but it's gotten to the point a lot of the audience expects it now. When we first started doing that, people were like, fuck.
Yeah.
And it would be, me, Howie, and Ken holding that note out for like a whole note sometimes.
Yeah. It really is a game changer, especially since just about every band is out playing songs that require harmonies to even come close to the original regardless.
Yeah.
See, if, you can't see an Eagles tribute without a good 4-part harmony going on there. And actually most of them have their own separate side singers doing stuff too.
You have to have harmonies, man. I mean, I can think of a million band songs that I've seen play, like with
Buck Cherry tribute band. You don't need harmonies.
Yeah, right. You just need to look like you're on crack, like Josh Todd.
Yeah.
I met him and I don't like him.
Yeah, I never did. I opened for him and didn't get to meet him.
Not a cool dude.
No.
We can talk bad about some people. Not a cool dude.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, for meeting Russell Miller. I want you to go to the Metalucious site on Facebook, their website, www.metalucious.com.
We don't use it, but on Facebook.
Facebook's probably the best way.
Metalucious, and if you can't find it because it's a pain in the ass to spell, it should be an S in it, but we're stupid blonde rockers. But it's Metalucious, your mom's favorite band.
And this Saturday night, which is what the hell is the date?
It's the 14th.
At Captain Hiram's, 7 p.m. start time. Make sure you guys get there. Check out the show among shows. The guys are legends around here. So if you are in Indian River, Brevard, or St. Lucie or Martin County, and you can make yourselves up to Captain Hiram's, you'll enjoy the show, I promise. And it's good food. Hiram's has great food.
They do. And if you want to hear what I'm doing originally, writing my own stuff, I'm with a band called AMOV. It's an acronym for A Moment of Violence, but we kind of stick to the acronym because we feel the name scares people, but we're just a hard rock band. And if you go to A Moment of Violence on anywhere you listen to your music, we've got some songs that, we're not famous, but we got Post Malone's manager trying to find us something right now. He's from Port St. Lucie.
Oh, cool.
So, we got some cool songs on there. A lot of it's just about life, and I think you could relate if you went and give it a shot.
I want dancing lessons. From Post Malone.
From Post Malone. He's hung out in this area more than you'd ever believe.
Oh, yeah?
I've been in the same room with him because I know a lot of people who are friends with him. He used to hang out in the Port St. Lucie area all the time.
Damn. I did not know that.
Managers from PSL.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
His name's Jay. Cool dude.
Hope to see some of you guys at his show Saturday night.